Hello there, this is Big Benedict. We're playing The Evil Within on Akumu difficulty mode, and this is chapter 6 of 15. It's entitled Losing Grip on Ourselves. So this is a video that probably a lot of people will need. The first thing I'm going to say is if you do not have enough shock bolts, or not the shock bolts, excuse me. If you don't have the flash bolts, you're going to have to restart the chapter because my strategy is all about using shock bolts. I used at least 10, 12 of them. I have them at level 5. If you don't have them, you're going to have to use other methods, possibly watch other guides, because this is a very specific strategy, and I've been telling you all along. And I don't mean to reprimand anybody. I'm just saying this is a tough fight. It took me a couple of hours, and the main reason it took me a long time is because my game keeps crashing. Like, I'll start the game, I'll go through the title screen, I'll start up the game, I'll go through like a couple of fights, and then it just all of a sudden freezes. So I looked it up on Steam. A couple of people were saying take the anti-aliasing off, and that I did, and finally it stops crashing, but it's completely unacceptable that I would even have to do that in the first place. It's still at 60 frames, but I'm just telling you. I actually redid Chapter 5 so that I could save up enough to get the flash bolts up to level 5, which gives you a 13-second stun duration. Now, I would have my shotgun equipped for the first part because every time you start it'll have you equipped with what you have. So you're going to have 2 people charging you at first, which is really annoying. You're going to have this guy here, so get into the corner, shoot the barrel up, and then kill this woman that's guarding. It's 2 rooms, 2 difficult rooms. Well, this room got to be extremely easy for me because I kept having to do it over and over again. The next room I had less practice on. So what we're going to do there is I'm going to put an explosive bolt on the window for those people, and then for the people that are coming out of the right, I'm going to use a shotgun. The main thing that this is difficult for is multitasking so much, but you barely have to participate in the killing of people if you use the flash bolts. Now, one thing to note is if you have the reload speed up, it'll help you out with the crossbow. I have the default reload speed because I haven't upgraded. I've been using other points. So this thing just spreads out over the entire room, and if Joseph gets distracted by having to kill enemies, you're going to be in these rooms longer. So you never want Joseph to not be at the door defusing the door because it takes him forever to open both doors. So if any enemy gets close to him, you're going to have to go by the door. I just stick okay, so I stay in the corner for that fight. This fight here, I'm crafting as many flash bolts as I possibly can. I think you can have 5. Let's see. You can have one in the chamber, and then 4 extra ones. If you don't have enough, they have some down here. The game is telling you to use flash bolts. Why and how are they doing that? Because they put a flash bolt on the table in the first room. They put a flash bolt down here too. They're saying use the flash bolts. So take this opportunity to reload. You don't want to start this next fight without reloading. I'm going to put an explosive bolt over in the next room. They won't spawn until you cross this area over here. And here's another flash bolt right there to give you 2 of them, or parts. I don't know what those were, but I prefer to stay in this corner here the entire time. And then when people start dropping, just freeze them. Well, not freeze them. If I never use the freeze bolts because if it hits too close to, if the enemies are too close when you hit it, you'll get frozen to it, instantly killed. That's what I've been experiencing over here. So I'm going to use the shotgun to stagger, stun, and drop enemies as best I can. Then I'm also going to be stabbing people. This game affords you hardly any iframes for stabbing or anything like that, so you've got to kite enemies as best you can here. And I'm just going to leave them, for the most part, I'm just going to leave them flailing about, blinded. And here I'm going to craft another one. And when they get out of their stupor, see, this is all about time. The less time Joseph has to open the door, like if he's getting, I've never had an experience here where Joseph got killed. Anytime enemies are distracting him, he'll get off the door and he'll start fighting, and then it's never going to time out because he has to open the door. So right now, waiting for enemies to get out of their stun. And then I'm going to start knifing people because everybody's incapacitated. And I'm like a greedy bastard, I'm going to drop down here and get this. So it's a simple strategy, but since there's no checkpoint, it can be, this room could be kind of difficult. And then, it's just, they're telling you to use this, so just use it. It'll make this room pretty simple when you think about it. Both rooms, they're tough, but they're not unmanageable. So there's the checkpoint right here. Alright, so after you do this, you're going to get the opportunity to get the sniper rifle and also to access this mirror. Now, you can access the mirror as many times as you need to, but when you trigger the enemies, what will happen is if you ever attempt to come back, a rock from above will shatter the mirror. So you cannot manipulate the save here at all. So on my first playthrough on survival, I did pass the mirror and then spawn the enemies, and then I couldn't come back. So what I'm doing here is I'm just doing all my upgrades, and then from this point on, there's not going to be any backtracking and saving it. But for the nonce, what I'm going to do, and if you don't know what the word nonce means, it just means for the time being. I say it sometimes. What we're going to do is we're going to take this jackass out. Now, his path will come down the platform that he's on, the upper platform. There's also a guy walking in the upper right if you see him. So we're going to, when he turns around, we're going to mantle over this, sneak up behind him, and take him out. So we're trying to do as many, what I'm doing is I'm getting as many stealth kills as I can, which is only one in totality, which is not even the main goal here. The main goal for me is to defuse at least 3 of these traps of torture. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, Bick, you're using these harpoons here, and they take 2 to craft, and you're negating what these equal, which is 2. But the thing is, to me, the harpoons, they're throwaway items. And in fact, there's even one harpoon coming up. So I'm getting those traps of torture to craft the other bolts that I really want to craft. And if you noticed when I was doing the first stealth kill, Joseph ran past me in view of the mask, the clown guy, the mask, the guy in the goddamn clown mask. But he doesn't acknowledge Joseph. And if any time you're doing stealth, they won't acknowledge him. So I'm going to slowly open this door. But the thing is, we've got a couple of masked guys. One guy is stationary behind the broken down bricks, who's standing in front of the generator. He throws an axe, so when you approach him, you need to rush him. There is one guy that will drop an axe over here. So from this point on, and you can, here's the thing, you can go to the left or to the right, but since I'm a person that likes, even though I'm right-handed, I like to go from left to right. That's what I'm doing here. So I'm using these throwaway items to take care of these guys here, and I'm also making sure no one comes down from the bottom. And so since you cannot manipulate the save, like I said, if you go back, watch out for that. If you go back, the mirror will get cracked. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to defuse as many traps as I can prior to earning the save points, that when I get ushered into the save point, it will save the fact that I have dismantled 3 of the traps of torture, and so that I don't have to defuse them and take that risk after the checkpoint. So and then once you go up the stairs on the next level, you'll get a checkpoint. It'll be the last checkpoint up until the sadist, so you've got to do a lot of work in between then and now. So this guy is hard to sneak up on. I would say he's almost impossible to sneak up on. So I'm going to defuse this, and this looks pretty crazy. And indeed, it took me 20 tries to get this right, but I'm one of those people where when I want to commit to something, I keep doing it until I do it, and I really don't care anymore since my game is not crashing anymore. Everything's running fine for the nonce. So this guy will see me, so he's going to chuck an axe. So I have an axe, so I'm going to rush him and sacrifice my axe. But it's not a sacrifice, really, because he's going to drop an axe. There's also an axe sticking into the wood. So, okay, so this guy... Okay, so we've got a guy. We need to very carefully move past that because there's a trap of torture right there. And this guy, I think I'm going to stick with the axe, because there's another axe coming up. And so we've got this guy left. We've also got a dynamite thrower who I was trying to take care of, but I think he went to an upper level beyond where I could go, beyond where I can ascend, rather, and get my checkpoint. So I got the checkpoint, but I had that dynamite thrower outstanding. So this one here, I'm just not going to risk. I decided I'm going to dismantle 3. Okay, there he is. We've got to make sure that we don't sprint past this bomb here. And I just call them traps of torture intermittently, because that's what Zobek said in Castlevania, Lords of Shadow. So anyway, so what we've got to do now is somehow manage this guy, but I don't know where he went. Actually, I do know where he went. Like I said, he went up to the 2nd floor. So when I attempted to go get him, I got ushered into that checkpoint that I mentioned. And that's that. I don't know where he is currently. He could have got unspawned. I hope he did. But anyway, so we're going to grab this axe just in case he comes anywhere near us. I'm going to very carefully, and you'll also see me vacillate over by the generator, and also by the lever there. The lever will open one of the hangar bays on the right side of this complex, but I didn't want to do it quite yet because I didn't want any more enemies coming out. See, there's a harpoon right there, so I got some of my inventory back right there, and here's some matches here. So I will have to get back to you on what the functions are here, because I haven't gotten any further than what you're seeing here. So you know, with everything intact, with all those traps collected, all the parts, we're going to go up here and we're going to get a checkpoint. So in a minute you'll see a crossfade here. So what can you expect from this section? That's a good question to know. First of all, the enemies will stop spawning. However, you see that lever right there? There's going to be a guy coming to pull it, but since my explosive arrows are only at level 4 of 5, I haven't upgraded to level 5 yet. What's going to happen is it's going to take 2 stacked explosive bolts to kill the guy, and you're not going to see him die, but because I turned the camera over here. But what happens is I wasn't getting him killed with 1 bolt, because what he does, he opens a door and releases enemies. So if you can prevent him from doing that, you can see the first door, the door next to the lever that I shot the bolts at, it's unopened at this point, which tells you that they're not coming out. Now there is another egress point. You see where the other explosive bolt is over there? That's for any enemies that are going to be coming out of there. I honestly can't tell if there's another, like a bay over there that they come out of. The thing you have to know about this section, this was really bold of me, but you're not going to get a checkpoint until the sadist. How do you secure the checkpoint? You can secure the checkpoint by shooting all the 4 guys in the hanging the lifts up there, and you don't need to use the sniper rifle. You can hit them with the pistol. It's a body shot kill, so you don't even need to worry about headshots. But what I'm doing here, I'm going to use this as my base of operations, so to speak, up here. Anybody who comes, I'm going to dispense with them. Anything that gets hectic, like if 3 or 4 guys come up here, I'm going to use a stun bolt, a flash bolt on these guys. Okay, so I know that the enemies over here will stop spawning because I've killed everybody. And then when I was going to loot everything, this is what happened. It was the funniest thing. A couple funny things happened actually over here, and I'll try to be brief about it so that I can talk about the strategy. But one time, you can actually get grabbed by enemies on even on Akumu difficulty, And as long as Joseph will pull them off of you, you can still live. So there was one point when I was getting mauled by an enemy, and I just set the controller down, just waiting for the bleed out screen. And then when I looked back up, I was still alive. And then I realized Joseph had pushed the enemy off me. So that's not going to happen here, but it has happened. And so he can do something good in that respect. He could also do something horrible. He can set off the fucking traps. Not the bombs, I don't think. But this is what happened. I had killed every enemy. I was looking around for all the inventory. I had not secured a checkpoint. And I was on the other side down there, below where those guys are. And there's a trap, like an ankle trap. And that son of a bitch, he set it off. And I lost about 15 minutes worth of good progress. So it's something you have to be aware of. Like, when you kill the enemies... and also, when they're near an edge, if you hit them, they'll sometimes come off. He's pretty decent here. I had hardly any issues with him trying to survive. It was mostly just my own survival here. He does pretty good work with his axe. And if I were you, I would pretty much just take care of... And okay, here's what I do. You can do it differently if you want to. You can try to run around and try to shoot the people who are controlling those tower boxes up there. But you're going to run into problems because there's enemies running all over the fucking place here. So that's what you need to do right there. When they're near an edge, shoot them, they'll fall off. Instant kill. So what you need to do is what I'm doing. I'm staying up in this location because I'm familiar with it, because this is where the checkpoint starts me every single time. Enemies will only come from over there to the right and like right over now to the right where I'm up that staircase. They won't come from below down there. So here is a chaotic situation. Now I'm using flash bolts to stun everybody. I'm going to duck and stab. So what I do is I stay up here, I kill everybody who comes up here, and then I start moving around, and then I'll stealth kill the other guys. Before you even secure this checkpoint, you could actually go over to the right, stealth kill more guys. So there are unlimited numbers of ways to deal with this situation. And for me, it's just, I don't want to risk running around too much until the majority of enemies are killed. So all the enemies over here I think are dealt with, so now we just have some enemies with the clown masks on the other side. And this is a really, really long video. It's not especially hard in my experience, but it's just, now I've got to narrate for 50 minutes and I'm not feeling good, I'm in chronic pain. So, okay, so this is how you kill him. Just shoot and he's dead. Watch out for the harpoons. So I'm not sure how many that is. It looks like we've taken out 2. Okay, so now we've got just 2 left. And this isn't that bad, honestly. Getting to the checkpoints, it's just pretty much just staying alive, doing your work, letting Joseph do his work, healing him when he needs to. And at this point, I really wouldn't run across the beam. I have had Joseph fall off this area here, but I think that only happens if you're letting things go really chaotically. So at this point, I don't want to risk running across the beam, so I'm going to go back the way I came and deal with people that way. Since I'm retreading old ground and I know what's coming up, I'm going to take care of... Okay, yeah, the generator is another thing I need to speak about. The generator will open... will power up 2 levers on the other side. You could see them, the guys walking across them right now. And you get to, as far as I know, this is how it works. You pick which lever you want to pull. In my experience, the right bay has a ton of enemies. The left bay on survival had prizes in it, but on this difficulty, it does have the prizes, but it also has a guy with dynamite. So I honestly can't confirm what the right bay has in it. Because I didn't open it on this difficulty. It probably has like 10 guys. But I could be completely wrong. It could have tons of prizes. I have no idea. But all I know is that I've never been able to open both doors. I don't think it's possible. I think it's one of those things where you get to pick what you want. You get a 50-50 chance. But it's the same every time. So there's a jackass running into the wall. We're going to take this guy down. I use the gun just to kneecap people. Kneecap and then burn them. Burn these fucking bitches. Okay, so here comes another pointer. I hate the way they point at you. It's so fucking gay. Okay, so you can kite them and let Joseph just murder them. Okay, so what's going on here? Now we just have a few more guys to kill. Restock. Just always reload. You don't want to get to a checkpoint and not be reloaded. It's so inconveniencing. I can't even tell you. So normally there's some guys up there, but I think I may have killed them. And I will point out the trap where Joseph activated it, and he got killed, which meant I got killed. It's right over here, and I almost fell on it again over here, and I thought he might activate it again, but I think that's the most bullshit thing ever in a game. Because it's inconsistent. He can walk past bombs, but he can't go through the ankle traps. So there's a bomb in here, just watch out. There's bombs all over the place here. The ankle trap is right there where I'm pointing, and that's the reason I'm shooting it, because I want to shoot it so he doesn't walk over it again. I'm not going to walk over, I'm not going to walk over it. He might, though. Stupid jackass, man. It's so infuriating, I can't tell you how much it is. So, see? This proves there's not infinitely spawning enemies. Even if that guy had pulled the lever, the door would be open. See the door up there, across the way? It would be open, but there would be no more enemies coming out because there's a set amount of enemies coming out of there. This takes a long time to clear everybody out here. Now I'm going up here because I know, well, I don't know, but I suspect there's another, yeah, there he is. I know he's up there, and I know there's some parts up here, some loot, so I want to get it before I secure myself that checkpoint. So here he is, and I think this guy rushed me. I wasn't able to stealth kill him, and this is one of those situations where, you know, you've done it for like 15 minutes or however many minutes, and you just don't want the mechanics to screw up. Like, you want him to drop, you want the match to work. And I just have a lot of problems with bullets clipping on parts of the geometry, so you have to be completely exposed. You can't be anywhere near geometry, or it just doesn't work. And it's just, it happens in almost every goddamn game. But as you can see, there's a shock bolt over there. Is he dead? Oh, there's some gel over there. See that on that ledge? I don't know if he's dead. Sometimes they play like they're dead. They feign death, and it's really annoying. Okay, so now we've got two more guys left, and they only come out on this side, and the same goes for the other two on the left. They only come out from the left side. Like, you have to be on the left side of the map for those two on the left. You've got to be on the right side for these guys to come out. Okay, so I fell. You see right there? I thought I was dead because of that trap. And now I'm purposely leaving this room. I'm trying to defuse it. I don't know, maybe it got defused somehow, but I don't want Joseph to walk anywhere near it, so I'm going to come out here. And he could have, I don't even know what the status of the trap is there. All I know is that he walked through it once, he got killed, and we both died. It's ridiculous. So now we just need to kill one more guy in the tower. But to make him come out, we need to go on the beam. And that's why if there's any enemies around here and you try to shoot people on the beam, it's too hectic. So this is a great way to control it. So just don't forget to get this shock bolt. And he's not taking the bait. I need to walk over to the left a little bit. I know it, but I'm just trying to make it happen, and it's not happening. So I just want to do a quick shot, take care of him, then we'll get the ability to go get the checkpoint. See, I almost fell again. Oh, fuck me. And this is another one of the situations where Joseph don't walk anywhere near the trap. I don't even know if it's diffused. Like I said, we'll just walk right through Joseph. And you can once you kill the sadist, you can go around and loot. So that's what I did. You're not going to see me loot because I'm just going. I didn't want this video to take forever. But you can go back and loot everything. So don't go out of your way to loot things before you get your checkpoint. Okay, so this guy, come on out, you motherfucker. So now I need to see where I need to stand so he'll come out. Okay, so it looks like he's opening up. I think a bullet works better than a sniper rifle bullet because you don't have to aim. Okay, now I'm having problems. See, I'm trying to pull these levers, but I didn't realize at the time that they required the generator to be pulled. So this guy is giving me a big problem. There's no more enemies, thankfully. Don't shoot that barrel, you might need it for the sadist. I'm at a conundrum here. Should I go run and loot, or should I just secure that checkpoint? So as I said, I'm going to try to secure the checkpoint, and then I'll do the looting afterwards. There was something else that I forgot to mention earlier, but I think I'll just ignore it because I can't remember what it was, but if it occurs to me, I will address it. So this is where we need to go, but it's not going to give you the checkpoint with the sadist until you see the guy shooting these harpoons, not until he's dead. But his opening the gate depends on where you are, so you need to be at about that position right there. And I'm going to retrace my steps to where I started out, because from this position here, he's just not going to open the gate. And when I played this on Survivor, I had hardly any resources to deal with the sadist, but now I've got ample resources because I've already went through the game. I mean, you still need to be frugal at all times, but so now I'm going to head back up here, and this is what you'll probably have to do too. See, we need to head over to the right as much as possible so that we can take this guy out. So we're just doing some best estimates here. Okay, there you go, you son of a bitch, causing all our problems there. So now I would just secure the checkpoint, and then we'll have the dealing with the sadist here once Joseph reconvenes with us. So the sadist is going to charge you, and what you need to do is stick this guy with explosive bolts, or you could just put them in his wake, and anytime he runs past them, it will detonate. I think the most damaging, though, in all honesty, is to stick him with them, and there is a misuse of a shock bolt. They're proximity mines, so he has to walk over to them, and see he's getting... Now, you can't knife him when he's in that position. It won't let you knife a shock bolted enemy, like, you know, go up and stab them. So when they're like that, I don't think they're receiving damage, but it's free damage for you, so just keep shooting him in the head. And he's a pretty easy target. You just got to make sure that you keep your distance when he charges you, because he can clear a lot of room when he's charging, and he'll give you 5,000. And at this point, did they give you a checkpoint? They don't quite give you the checkpoint, so it's at your own risk if you want to go back and start defusing traps, because if you fail the traps, the bomb ones where you have to spin the dial, if you fail those, you're going to have to keep fighting him every time, because I don't think the checkpoint is up until this point up here on this level here. So just do what you can. And we'll be able to go through this room. I really like this game. I've called it a brilliant game, and I do still think it is brilliant. But the technological aspects of it on the PC version are just really irritating me. And my game is not crashing anymore, but sometimes it just does at random times. So I've lowered all the settings. But I haven't sacrificed the 60 frames per second setting. I refuse to do it because it looks too nice. But I have taken anti-aliasing off, and I've taken down the reflections from high to medium. It's just not worth it. And it's not a problem with my computer, it's a problem with this game, because I've run, like when I did my Devil May Cry 4 guide, I had everything out on max. I know that's an old game, but it's still demanding on your system. And I've played Max Payne 3 on my PC with maxed out settings. So It's just this game. It's not stable. So at this point, I've cut out the checkpoint. Not the checkpoint, but the cutscene. And what you have to do is kill the two haunted that are leading Joseph over here to the guillotine. And then once he gets back to his feet, you'll be able to cross the other side with a bridge or with a little ladder that Joseph will set down here for it. And it's nicely checkpointed. So what's going to happen is Joseph's going to have to defuse the door again. I believe it's one of those doors. And then we're going to have enemies using this walking plank over here to get to us. And you can't destroy the plank so that they can't get over to you. So what you can do is shoot them as they're walking on the plank. Hopefully you can get a couple of them off. And the thing that really annoys me here is the first time I got here, there is a grenade to pick up, but every subsequent time after you die, it's not there anymore. And it's those little things that just really drive me crazy about games like this. Just stop pulling that shit where everything's not consistent. Because a grenade is a great tool in this game and it would have helped. So the thing here is that there's like 6 haunted. Make sure that you get on the ones that are causing Joseph problems, because they will not only kill him, but they'll distract him, and you'll have to take more time here. And then once you've killed like 4 of them, all you need to do is just hide, because there's going to be dynamite throwers on the other side, and they won't hit you. They've never hit me. They've never hit Joseph. One thing I think these harpoons should do, if there's 2 enemies stacked, like one behind another, it should spear both of them. I think it does that in Dead Space 2 with those enemies. The stalker enemies, if you're familiar with that game. Okay, so now there's dynamite throwers over there. You can attempt to go kill them if you want to, but why even waste your time? Why waste your resources? Why waste anything? So just stay here. They will chuck dynamite, but it won't hit you. It won't hit Joseph. So just wait till he opens the door. It's all good. And this guy takes so long to open these fucking doors, it's ridiculous. So, it's got to lock into place, you can't just run under it. And then we'll be facing some twins. They're called, I think they're called Zuin and Nguyen or something crazy. You don't have to fight those guys. That was a little scary right there, wasn't it? I think this section, like when I first played this is great pacing. I love parts where you're not required to do anything but just run around, observe, and just marvel over the environment, pick up stuff, and it's perfect. This is perfect for the pacing. You know, you've got a couple of extreme fights, and it's separated by a nice, easy-going section like this. Like in a game like this, where so much is happening. And by the way, I put this in fast forward because I wanted to cover every inch of ground over here and not miss anything. But don't miss the little hidden area where there's a key over here. I'll point it out. But The Last of Us did this kind of thing too, where you're just walking around, you're just exploring, and you're not fighting, because if you were fighting the entire game, it just wouldn't be fun, and the pacing would be not in keeping with what it should be, which is to have highs and lows in a game like this. So hit these boxes right there, it'll reveal this little location over here. There's another key coming up, which is, I would never have known about it because it's so obscure. I did find that one on my own, but as I've been mentioning, I'm looking on the pickup guides that people have done to get all the keys, because I want to be able to make sure I get them all. Things like that I don't mind doing. What I do mind doing is looking on other people's guides when I'm doing my own guides. So a couple of people that I'm subscribed to, I have looked at your guides, but when I started playing this, I just can't look at guides. I don't want to be distracted, and I don't want to have... Because the main thing is, when you look at someone's guide, for me at least, then that's the first thing you emulate, and you can't even help it. So I don't look at anybody's content until after I've done what I need to do. That way, then I can see what they thought to do. because otherwise, why just go around copying people? It's just, you know. Anyway, so we're coming into the graveyard now, and we've got a little brief section before we separated with Joseph. And I'm pretty sure that oh, okay. This is another scene after the cutscene. And I also wanted to mention that the syringes, it is kind of helpful to have the syringes sometimes, because in that instance where earlier in the game I got grabbed but I didn't get killed, it put all of my health very low to the point where I had like no stamina. So I can see how it would be helpful to have the syringes. I mean, they're 99% irrelevant, but for those brief times when those glitchy things happen, which they let happen on this difficulty, it is helpful to have them, because otherwise, you know, your stamina would be so low that he'd be clutching inside the whole time and you wouldn't be able to run fast. Okay, so this is just another area where there's a lot of loot, and I believe what we're going to do now, just watch out for that sniper. He'll shoot down that lamp with the fire, and you can be killed by it. So just make a run for these 2 gravestones over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to light the bodies on the right side, because I know they animate. But I know Joseph will shoot this guy. Watch this. I'm so confident that he's going to do this, because he does it every time. It's not that I'm confident, it's just I'm confident in how the scripting works. So these are some bodies over here that you can light. They're beneath the water, but it's at least a free kill, if nothing else. So the mid-level boss fight, I would say, it's very easy, because there's a wonderful place that you can stand and crouch, although you can't aim whilst crouching. And these guys, I don't believe they can get... I don't think they can be skipped, but Joseph can certainly kill them. So if you want to do your best just running around kiting things, just let Joseph do the bulk of the work there without wasting too many bullets. And just pick up everything that you can. And then up here we'll have the boss fight, and it's extremely simple, because the twins tend to hang out together. And what you want to do is stick one of them with the explosive bolt, so that the burst damage will affect the other twin and deal him damage too. So this is where the first of him springs out, Briar. And I didn't know this until afterwards, but you can go back here, collect loot, which I didn't do, and which I'm irritated about doing. Okay, so he's going to pick up that cudgel. Watch out, because he throws it, and then just run past him. Obviously, if he touches you, you're just instantly dead. And if you wanted to light those bodies, you could, but it would cost you time. So the second brother is going to burst out of the door over to the to our left right there. So there's the shock bolt. And shock bolts are fine for this type of situation. Just stick one, it'll shock both of them. Did it even do anything? Possibly not. So use what you just saw there as an example, not to waste your own supplies. So we're going to be sticking with these explosive bolts here, because what they do is they group up right under Joseph, and he's shooting them, and they pretty much leave you alone. So it's a very simple encounter. Just stick one of them, see how the burst damage hits both, and then once one of them falls, they're like 9 feet tall. Once one of them falls, I believe you can go over there and burn him. You can start. You might be able to burn him. No, maybe not. Well, I burned that guy, but he was already dead. The reason I know he's dead is because he yielded that gel there. So maybe that when he says finish him off, it just means to shoot him. But I just saw, yeah, it's over, so it's pointless. You don't need to burn them. My mistake. That's just wasting matches. I believe you can have up to 30 matches if you upgrade all the way. That's a ridiculous amount. So just make sure you collect the ooze from both of them. They give you 3,500 apiece. And also just make sure you go back the way you came. There's no risk of getting killed. But there's a lot of ammunition that I just regret picking up. I regret that I missed it. And it wasn't even about being lazy or anything like that. It's just sometimes the more I run around, the more I feel like I'm wasting your guys' time. So anyway, there is this box to smash over here. I think they let you do it. Maybe not. And we are going to be facing some kind of a monstrosity dog coming up for the final boss. And yeah, they don't let you go down there. But I do think they let you go to a... I guess they don't let you go back to the hospital. I love how the bodies are flailing in here in these sacks. And so I'm going to show you how to get a key over here. And it's a weird one. It's probably one of the weirdest I've seen here. And then in this room it's a puzzle. But I don't really consider it to be much of one, because you don't have to do anything in order. All you need to do is pull 3 levers. I mean, maybe you need to pull them in the order that I pulled them in, but I just completely guessed. I wasn't even guessing, I was just pulling levers. So this is where the other statue is here, and it's clinging to one of these sacks. And it just seems so abnormal. Like, when I first saw this, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? They did this? How are you supposed to know it's there? But it is there. And just wait a while until it gets a little bit closer, because as you can see, I'm not hitting it enough. And I think it comes to a stop. Maybe it doesn't come to a stop, so just make sure you get it. So the dog, I struggled a lot with him. I'm just going to be calling him the monstrosity, because I don't know what he is. He looks like a pig dog, so maybe I'll call him that. I've seen enough pig dogs in my life, like just the ugliest dogs you can ever imagine, and people call them cute. It's disgusting. Like, that dog is fucking ugly, and you know it. It's a pig dog, motherfucker. So, I really am... I like that I almost have 500 views on video 1, but I do realize I'm getting diminished returns on these videos, and it's not going to stop me from making them, but it just... I need your guys' help and support, you know, not only with money. If you want to, I don't have Patreon on my YouTube. I might put it on there at some point, but, you know, at the very least, if you don't want to give money to a complete stranger, I understand, but, you know, if you've been with me for a couple of years, I don't think that we're strangers anymore, to be honest. And, you know, at the bare minimum, just when you see an ad, and I hate even mentioning this, but just, you know, just click on it. That's all you have to do. Just click on it. It'll open in a new window, and then you could shut that window the second you need to, and it will help me. It'll benefit me monetarily. And again, if you want to donate to, you know, $1, $5, just whatever you think that my efforts are worth here, because it's hard to narrate. This is almost an hour long. It might even turn out to be over an hour long video. And I've been sick, and I've been dealing with chronic pain, and I might have to go to the ER for pain management tomorrow if I can't. Just can't get my doctor to do what I need her to do. But I'm not trying to pull any stunts. The quality of my life is considerably diminished when I can't manage my pain in my back, and it's ridiculous. Nobody should have to endure it. I didn't ask for this. You know, there's 2 things I won't do. I will not beg for pills, and I will not demand pills. It's just one of those things where I need... Okay, here's the information about the twins if you want to see it. Nguyen and Zen. it's just and I'm not a pill addict, but that's the conception that you have to overcome, like the instant you go in there, because they want you to do drug tests and everything like that. I have no problem with that. So there he is right there. Some foreshadowing. Because I don't even drink alcohol anymore. I stopped drinking it. It just makes me tired and it makes me sick. So, I mean, I might in the future, but for now, I just don't want to drink anything this month. Although I did drink a little bit of something on Halloween, just for special occasions, for God's sakes. How are you supposed to live these days? I mean,
can you get it open?
You know what I mean. I hope. But yeah, give me all your money, please. I would really appreciate that. Just kidding. So here he is. So on the dog, what I like to do is do a shotgun blast to him at first. Then I'm going to use my sniper rifle to hit him in the head, or the body shots. This took not very long because the sniper rifle is so powerful. But when he charges out of the trees, get to one of the diagonal places on the map, and then just look for where the bushes are moving the most, and then that's where you aim your reticle. And at that time, just shoot him in the head. And if you shoot him in the head with the shotgun or with the sniper rifle, you'll get iframes. And this was the entire battle. It was very quickly done. This section took longer for me because, as you know, I'm very greedy when it comes to collecting parts, and there's bear traps all over the place. So first of all, get these shotgun shells, and then there's a bear trap right here. This is all optional stuff if you don't need to do it or you don't want to do it. And then there's a bear trap right here. And there's also a shock bolt right here. And I should have got the cutscene where Joseph's... Yeah, I should have got this, but it made me pick up the glasses twice for some reason. So the only thing I need now is these bullets here. And there's usually another bear trap around here. You can barely see the bear traps. They're invisible practically. They camouflage so well. But, you know... Don't push it too far. There's like 3 boxes around here too. There's the bear trap, god damn it. So I got 3 of them. That's really good. I'm happy about that. There's also boxes around here. I kept smashing them and kept getting nothing, so I don't think they yield anything. But there is some gel over to the left of where the chapel entrance is, and then that's the whole chapter. Damn, this was a really long chapter, and I knew it going in, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. But you know, I also hope that these strategies are helping you guys out, so I'll see you in Chapter 7.